Hey guys, tonight we have a new moon at 20 degrees of Sagittarius. So that's the 12th of December 2023 at 11:32 in the evening. Okay, so I'm going to quickly run through what this may mean in terms of the Sagittarian themes that we may feel or experience or come through in our lives if our charts are affected by these energies. So the themes of Sagittarius, it's a mutable fire sign. And we're using the image here of the centaur uh, and the archer. So the thing about the mutable energy of Sagittarius, one of the mutable signs, so the energy can be quite scattered in different places. So the archer, to hit the spot, to aim for the target, you have to have a very direct view, a very accurate view of the target you want to meet and want to hit. So try to focus on the important things instead of letting the mind wander. So focus on the larger goals, what you want to achieve, the bigger picture, and aim for those. Okay, so try to be as tunnel vision as possible with those main goals. Okay. It's a fire sign as well, so it's full of ideas and it's very intuitive. So it's important to get those ideas focused as well and focus them into the goals that you're wanting to achieve and the goals you're wanting to reach. It's a sign associated with fitness and exercise, foreign culture and overseas travel as well. Sagittarius is all about the long journey and going on adventures and having a bit of a quest. And eventually the quest never ends because for Sagittarius, there's always something else. So you get to one stage of the journey and then you realize, oh, there's more. So you keep exploring, you keep the adventure going. So it's positive to have some meaning and purpose, and a healthy philosophical outlook on life really helps with the Sagittarian quest. So it's all about higher knowledge and higher education. So a lot of Sagittarian themed people would be highly educated. They think it's important to keep their education going through life. And it's quite common as well to see religion as a big theme. And in terms of religion, it can be an organized religion like Catholic Church or Christianity. It could be Muslim, it could be Jewish, or it could be any type of organized religion at all. But then sometimes people reach beyond that. They look for what's behind the religion. So you get people looking into more spiritual themes which are more personal. Okay, but it's the idea that there's something larger and something bigger than humanity and something bigger to aspire to. Okay, so and that's all part of the quest as well. So the Sagittarian theme as well can include teaching and lecturing and even also learning. So it's the higher education theme. So things you may look out for is a new course of study that you may wish to take part in, or you may like to feel like you're passing on some information. So teaching, lecturing, taking part in those kinds of themes, the educational themes, are probably going to come up around this time. Now, ruled by Jupiter, Sagittarius does have an overreaching kind of feel to it. So sometimes you feel like you're maybe not happy with what you have and you're always wanting more. So you're always looking for the next big thing. So sometimes you have to try and rein yourself back a bit and just say, oh, I'm actually okay here. I don't need much more. Because if you can keep looking and looking and looking, and it can lead to a lot of disappointment because you can't have everything you want. So sometimes you just have to be satisfied with what you have. So you can be aware of that overreaching theme that may come up, always wanting more, that kind of thing. Sagittarius, the themes of that, it's about rising above the situation as well. And that certainly that has its positive themes, but it can also be negative as well in terms of rising above just just to become superior. And sometimes a negative Sagittarian trait can be experiencing situations with people who think they're untouchable above the law because they have got such a huge ego and an overinflated ego that they feel superior. So if you think you're like that, sometimes you may need to catch yourself on sometimes. Or if you think you're having an experience or a conflict with someone like that, you'll recognize the Sagittarian, that they probably have a Sagittarian theme going on in their birth chart or something which comes out, they project it. Okay. So in the new moon chart, and this chart is cast for Belfast because I am Northern Ireland based, and the new moon appears in the fourth house, which is the house of home and family and the land and things like that. So that's where the big focus is at this time of the full moon, especially with the offer that has come in from the UK government. But we're going to go into that in a few minutes. So there are, in the new moon chart, we have the planet Mars quite close as well, and Mars will soon enter that fourth house, which in a few days, and that will add more impact into the theme of this new moon and the things that come up with that. So we also have a square aspect to the planet Neptune, and this may cause some disillusionment and illusion in some shape or form. Now, in personal terms, if you're feeling this way, if your chart is impacted by this new moon, using Neptune as a means of escape is positive if you use it in the positive term. So that means not taking your stresses and strifes into alcohol or drug abuse or funneling it into some other kind of addiction. It's better to go into a meditative state or lose yourself in some kind of creative activity. That would be the more positive expression of using that Neptune energy if you're feeling overwhelmed or disillusioned with day-to-day stresses. Now, we also have the planet Jupiter is the ruler of this new moon, and it's in Taurus and it's in opposition to Venus. These are the two. Taurus is the sign of money, finance. Scorpio is hidden finance or money from the partner. So it could be if you're a man, it could be your wife's money. If you're a woman, it could be your husband's money. So there could be some positive vibes coming in terms of finances. So if your chart is affected by this new moon, and even if you have planets close to 9 degrees Scorpio or 6 degrees Taurus, you certainly could be in for some financial news. So, and it could be quite rewarding because these planets are the two beneficial planets. So there may be some positive news coming in terms of money and finance. And it also comes through the second and the eighth houses as well. So it's quite possible it could be in the form of an inheritance or some other unexpected windfall that you didn't realize. And because it's Scorpio, it may be there's something you may not know. There could be something secretive about it as well. So Mercury is actually stationary at the time of the new moon, and it's about to go retrograde, and it will be retro until the 2nd of January 2024, and then it goes direct at 22 Sagittarius, which is only a couple of degrees away from this new moon. So it's a quick retrograde. So 2nd of January, it will go direct again. Okay. So the usual Mercury retrograde themes, it's about going over things. So in terms of Capricorn, it can be rethinking in terms of ambition. What do you want to achieve in life? What are your long-term goals? Do you need to revisit those long-term goals, restructure and replan? And when it goes back into Sagittarius as well, it'll bring in the themes of education, foreign travel, higher learning, and all those themes that we discussed earlier to do with Sagittarius may come up as well. Okay. So in the chart I use for Northern Ireland, this new moon experience has Mars right on the ascendant, and the new moon appears right in the first house. So this is about action. This is about consciousness. So it's the consciousness of the actual state of Northern Ireland. It's coming up. It's everyone knows about it. It's made known. It's conscious. It's the conscious level we are at. And with Mars on the ascendant, it certainly means action. And what the house that Mars rules is the fifth house here, ruled with Aries on the cusp. And we also have the Jupiter and Venus aspect going across that house axis. So that's the 5th and the 11th house. So all the things we discussed earlier about the Venus and Jupiter for the financial situation, it's all coming up here for Northern Ireland. Okay, so the 5th house is the inner child. It's the house of creativity, and it can be new beginnings, so new creations. And if the people who should be in Stormont get back together, it will be under a brand new contract, a brand new setting, with Sinn Féin having the First Minister. So this will be completely new to the people of Northern Ireland. And it's a chance for a new project to begin. And it's blessed with Jupiter in the house, in the 5th house. And the money as well from the 5th house, from the UK government, is coming in as well, but it's certainly, there will be conditions attached. And the conditions are probably quite secret as well, because we don't know the full extent to what this money is being offered. But I'm sure the conditions will come out as time goes past. So we've got Mercury retrograde in the 1st house as well. So it's stationary. So there's a lot of things that need to be considered. And we know that the DUP are not going to rush in to go back to Stormont. Sir Geoffrey has a lot of pressure from all different angles at the minute. He's got the hardline unions politicians from other parties and from other institutions barking at his heels and telling him he cannot go back in, and even some of his own party members don't want him to go back in. But the people are the people who matter, and they do want the DUP to go back in. So, and the media are hounding him. They want him back in. So he's under serious pressure. But he's not going to jump into anything so quickly. So this is a chart I've quickly done up here for the Sagittarius full moon, which is in May of next year, 23rd of May. And so the new moons are beginnings. Full moons are when things come to fruition, fulfillment. So when we look, if we go forward to May of next year, we can see that Saturn has moved into the 4th house, and it makes an opposition to the radical position of the Northern Ireland chart. So this is looking more realistic to me for when we may see a Stormont executive back up and running. Saturn brings stability. And when it moves into the 4th and opposes that, the pressure will be on to create some kind of stability. We will also have Mercury right on the sun of the Northern Ireland chart, and the full moon, the sun will be in Gemini, the moon will be in Sagittarius, and it's blessed by a Jupiter and a Venus conjunction at the very end of Taurus in the 29th degree. So that could be the last. It looks like Taurus is a sign of stability. And it looks like that particular date will be more realistic for when we're going to see a Stormont executive back up and running. So that will be 23rd of May, in around that date next year. Okay, now these are just my personal ideas about how things may unfold. So other themes to look out for now in your personal chart, look at the house axis in your personal horoscope, see where the new moon falls. Also check for aspects to any personal planets or angles you may have, and you'll notice it more by conjunction, square, or oppositional aspects. Does it activate any personal themes in your chart? These are all things that you need to look at if you want to see if this new moon is going to impact your life in some kind of way. So for personal consultations, you can contact me. You can find me on StarDrifter Astrology on Facebook, or you can just Google StarDrifter Astrology. And if you want to show some appreciation for this information, you can go to the link, buy me a coffee, and just buy me a coffee or two, and I can keep these going. So I probably won't be on again until Christmas or the New Year, or after Christmas. So we'll take this opportunity as well to wish everyone a very happy Christmas. Okay, thank you.